I'm going to get in trouble again. When you were young, or even now, and there's a possibility of meeting someone, your true love, or just a cute date or something like that back in your youth. Now, how would you use the word openness in that case? You're open to phone calls?
Open to smiles.
Open to smiles. Was that your trick? You kind of smile when you see?
I never acknowledge my tricks.
Well, I learned something today. Well, okay. So I don't want to embarrass my wife Joanne back there, but I was sure open when I was back in Ann Arbor and I hadn't met her yet, and I was open to meeting a co-ed, I guess, but that's not why I was there. I was starting law school, fresh back from the Marine Corps, and I made a terrible mistake of taking a job in a crowded freshman, sophomore dormitory. Hundreds of guys in there. They weren't co-ed at the time. And it almost knocked me out of law school. But there was one good thing. I had a friend who was a fellow dorm counselor, and he said, how would you like to meet a friend of my girlfriend and take her out? Well, sure. Now, I was open to that. Now, I'm not going to drag this out, but we had a couple nice days, and then I got busy with schoolwork again, and this fellow came back and said, have you called Joanne lately? And he got me to finally to call her again. Of course, she had the spunk to say all booked up when I called the next time, so I discreetly hung up on her. But a couple of weeks later, my friend comes back and call her again, you know. So here this guy's working on me, and I called her again, and the rest is history. There she sits. The love of my life. Okay, well, now what's going on here? Well, there's my friend there, and what's this thing that's causing him to? I was open, obviously, to this idea of getting fixed up. And so I listened. That caused me to listen, right? If he said, would you be interested in hearing my dissertation from business school, he would, I wouldn't have been too open to that, right? So we're open to certain subjects. And that's what I'm trying to get down to today. And the trick is to keep your ears open to your friends, other people who might give you these ideas. Now that's a silly example. It's too easy because anybody is going to be open at some time in their life to that kind of a thing, getting fixed up with somebody. It's just too easy. What we really have to be thinking about today is how do we open ourselves to things that aren't so obvious, to more subtle things. You know, is this something we can practice? What are we going to do to get there? What about being open, in effect, to God's guidance? That's what I'm interested in doing today. Keeping ourselves open to God's guidance. And indeed, I'm including any good thing. Remember how I define God's love and good, and just taking the O out, and that's God. So anything qualifies that's good as God's guidance. But how do we open ourselves to the point that we're open to more of God's guidance, what we need for our daily lives? I'm going to get out of the theological area and ask, what did God have to do with either my story or any other story where someone gave you a good idea? I hope you're starting to think now of things in your own life where somebody gave you a hint of something, and maybe it was unintentional, but it just came out, and it led to good things. How do we see God in that? And my friend probably did not think he was doing any passing God's word along. We don't think of it in those terms. We don't think of God as being there, but that's what I want us to be thinking more and more about. All this good stuff. That's God's love. He didn't realize it, but there he was. Now let's talk a different kind of openness where we don't know we're open, or we think we're not open to something. Have any of you read the book, The Elephant Whisperer? All of the good books I read, my wife passes on to me. And The Elephant Whisperer is quite exciting, quite a good book. And it's written by this Lawrence Anthony, who was, I have to say, he just recently died. But he was starting, he's a South African, and he was starting a animal reserve in South Africa. I don't know if any of you have been on any of those safari trips, but you can go see animals on these reserves. You stay there, nice places to stay, and they take you on these jeeps, and you go out in the boondocks and you see wonderful animals. But he was doing this just for small animals. I mean, he's just starting out. One thing he was not in a position to take on was elephants. He knew about the elephants' problem. They're huge animals, obviously, and you have to build fences, huge fences, electrified fences to keep them in, and the poachers, you know, and their guns. You've heard about that, the ivory trade and all that stuff. So it's a big problem. So here's Lawrence Anthony trying to make a go of his nice